really badass hard freeze. And no, I'm putting my ugly hat back on. I took it off because I don't care. Remember I said it's more stupid to take the ugly hat off and get chilled. Okay, so I made a mistake this year. It was one of those, a lot of times I'm testing stuff. It's not stuff I've done before. On a farm, you test stuff. You make experiments, so to say. Sometimes they go very well and you figure out some new way to do things that's better, and other times, not so much. One of the things I did this year, because I wanted more muscadines than ever because of the apocalypse, I just let it go. It climbed up that window. Now it's made a hell of a mess. I was just saying I'm going to have to go inside and open the window to get all the crap
out.
out. But I let it grow up the side of the house. It grew up on the air conditioner. And I thought, oh, I'm going to get lots and lots of muscadines. We had the worst muscadine crop we've ever had. I normally keep it trimmed so that it doesn't make a mess on the side of the house. But I thought, more important, we get more muscadine. Didn't work. Okay, so now I've got to trim it. And believe it or not, the goats, even though there's no leaves on there, if you look, you can see that there's still green stuff in there. The goats will get this and they will chew off all these buds and eat the small end of the stick.
Yeah.
And it's really good roughage for them. Especially the billy goat, because right now his pasture, that billy goat eats us out of house and home.
Yep, he does.
And right now, that billy goat has already laid bare that entire freaking pasture that he's in. And I can't move him until I move the does back here, and I'm damned if I'm going to move the does from here until there's at least as much forage over here as there is over there.
Yep.
So, I just take my little, let's talk about the tools we get. Okay, so I do, like most of you, I probably get a lot of my tools at Harbor Freight. And this is Lynx. I like it. It works really well. All of the Lynx tools that I've gotten that are battery operated, all are excellent tools. The weed eater sucks, but you know what, people? I've yet to get a weed eater that didn't suck.
Yep.
And I got all the same style of tool that took the same battery pack and charger. So if I'm working with one of them and not the others, I can just have batteries backed up for days.
Yeah.
So so whatever tool you're buying, if you're buying in a battery operated rechargeable tool, think about getting all of them the same, like my angle grinder, my impact driver, and my drill all use the same power pack and charger. This means that if I'm using my impact driver, which is the one I use the most, I literally have 3 backup batteries. You know, I have 1 battery for it and then 2 that can be on charge. So that's what we do. But anyway, I like this because you can't cut your fingers off, because in order to run it, you have to have both hands on the machine. And what I do is, I just turn it off. Alright, and I just trim it to the shape of the arbor, and I normally keep that done all summer long. If it starts encroaching on the house, or it gets where we can't walk through here, I trim it off. But this year, in my attempt to get more muscadines, I did not, and I didn't get more muscadines. But I built this, me and my son the genius built this when he was still home, and it's starting to get old. I'm having to replace some of the timbers and stuff every once in a while, but I think that we built this before he was 13 and he's almost 40 now, so it's doing pretty well. Okay, so I had to trim this back. This is trimmed back. I'll gather all these little sticks. I'll take them to the goat. I've already trimmed the back of the Carolina Jasmine and taken it to that poor starving billy goat.
Animals are what, children?
Assholes. But I'm going to trim all this back, and you'll see how much this grows, because somewhere in there is a wagon wheel that I originally used as a trellis. And I will trim all this back and take it to the does. And one of the things that, you know, I am not good with tech or computers or any of that shit, but thank God Lynn is. Because what I do now is, before I give them something, especially an abundance of something, I have Lynn look it up on the World Wide Web. You know, you basically put in, is Carolina Jasmine poisonous to goats? And it said no, so I'm feeding it to them. I've always fed it to them, but now I can actually check and see. There you go.
Yeah, because we did end up feeding something to them. We'd always fed.
I've always fed them honeysuckle.
That's what it was.
I still feed them some, but it said you can only feed them a little bit or it would bloat them and kill them. I'm still not sure that's not what happened to that billy goat.
That other billy goat, yeah.
The billy goat that we lost, the billy goat kid we lost this spring, because he did bloat and die.
Yeah.
And, boy, I'm too hot now. I had to take my hat off. But he did, because I'm in the sun, no doubt. He bloated and died, and it might have been honeysuckle, because we had moved him from the kid pen into the, well, from the kid box
Right.
into the kid pen, and there was honeysuckle
everywhere.
All over the fence,
Yeah.
and they will eat that first. So I don't know if that's what happened to him or not. But at any rate, now we have to watch the amount of honeysuckle we give them. But
Jasmine's okay.
so
Carolina Jasmine.
Carolina Jasmine's okay. Okay, regular jasmine, it turned out she found out that it's okay except when it's blooming.
Yep.
And then when it's blooming, it's toxic. So all of this grew this year.
Yep.
So I'm getting ready to trim it back, and you're going, oh, you're going to kill it. No.
No.
And the nice thing about it is it's kind of just like the honeysuckle, which is why I've always fed the honeysuckle. It's evergreen.
Uh-huh.
So we had a hard freeze. What was it, 22 last night?
Yes.
22 last
No,
night.
19. It was
This is
19
fine.
last night. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was cold.
So I'm going to feed this to the goats.
I'll come back when she's finished trimming all that.
All right, so I have to cut it in stages and move it in stages because there's so much of it that otherwise you can't get it.
Those poor starving goats.
See, poor starving goats. You saw yesterday she's eating. The truth is that goats are browsers, and they would rather eat broadleaf plants than grass.
Right.
Anytime. So the minute you put it in there, they're all on top of it. And they ate most of the marigolds, but not all of them yet.
Yeah,
They
I see.
ate them like crazy when I first put them out there. And
Well,
then
that's
they were
normal because it's different.
Like, ew, now I don't like it. But
Yeah.
there you go.
Well, and you're bringing them fresh stuff.
Yeah, I'm bringing them fresh stuff. So
Well, and why did you not cut all of it first again?
I said, because if I try to cut all of it, there's so much of it, I literally can't get to it.
Yeah, okay.
Because as it falls, it's just a great big ball at your feet.
There you go.
And so you're stepping on top of it and over it, trying to get it.
Oh. Go.
So as you can see, I'd already brought that much over, and now I just cut this, and I've got this massive pile of crap.
It is massive, too. And if you'd had that other, there's no way.
No. Well, not only that, it gets stuck up on itself.
Yes,
I
it's-
really cut too much this time.
Okay.
But, you know, I got my button stuck. What can I say?
Okay, I'm going to turn
And
off.
this is how we hay our goats. Anything that you can feed them like this saves hay and grain. And keeps them happy, frankly.
Woo! I'm not following you.
All right, as always, you start off with one bunch of tools and wind up needing a bunch more. This is a pretty gnarly job. I found a bunch of dirt against my fence and against my bench and stuff. That's just going to rot it out, so I'm going to take my trowel and dig the dirt out of there.
Well, you really cut it back.
Well, all this dirt is from the rotten leaves from that jasmine. You
Ah.
don't do this every year. Eventually it would rot out the fence, rot out everything. That's the thing is, people want to pretend that you plant a plant or you build a garden and it's once and done.
Yeah.
That is not the case. Every freaking thing you do on a farm has to be constantly maintained.
Right.
So when you're building something or making it, don't do like me and make monsters to maintain. If you're the kind of person who you know damn good and well you're not going to do the maintenance work for certain things, don't plant them.
Yeah.
Jasmine will eat your farm. Wisteria will eat your farm. Grapes and muscadines have to be tended, or even if you're doing the best you can, they won't produce.
Right.
So think about it. If you're the kind of person that doesn't mind doing maintenance, there are some things you can do that, if you're the kind of person you know you're not going to do the maintenance, don't build it. Don't plant it.
Yeah.
Don't do any of that, because if you don't constantly keep it up, you lose it.
Yep.
And then what was the point of all that work in the first place?
Exactly.
So you have to be willing. But yeah, it's like you start one thing and then you realize, oh, that's a bigger job than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And then you remember, oh yeah, that's the exact same fucking thing that happened last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Last year when I did this, there was 4,000 pounds of dirt up against my fence and on my bench. And this bench has just about had it. I made it out of a piece of cedar log by splitting the cedar log in half and then just sticking it. But it'll still live probably a couple more years. And when it dies, I'll build something nicer.
And we'll use it for firewood.
And I'll use it for firewood. Nothing gets wasted around here. So it's been a good bench for many, many years. And like I said, when it's bad and it's no longer any good for a bench, we'll burn it for firewood.
I really like it when it's actually visible where you can get to it.
Oh,
Because
as opposed to when it's under the jungle.
yes,
Like the jasmine,
yes, exactly. Because it's a
is
neat,
most of the summer.
it's a neat place to sit in the summertime because that gets shade before anything else. And you're
Oh,
right,
yeah.
you're right by the pool and by the fountain going when it's running, and it's just so neat, so neat. Boy, there's
But
a
here's the thing, you know, I made in this area last spring or summer, I made one about making your own oasis.
right.
Here's the thing, your oasis needs to be maintained.
Yep.
It's not just going to stay pretty.
Nope.
If you're not willing to get in there, this pool has to be painted. The cracks have to be filled and has to be painted every other year.
Yeah.
All this stuff has to be maintained. So know your limitations, people. If you're the kind of person who doesn't like to do maintenance, do things that don't need much maintenance.
Right.
In other words, do what I say, not what I fucking do.
Awesome. Okay.
Okay, I'm coming in.
Okay. Say goodbye. I'm getting a good ass shot, so say goodbye.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought you already said goodbye. Goodbye, people.